What's up, Silas here. So jumping right into this video, I'm just going to be reading something I saw online. But like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I post occasionally some of these things. In this video, I'm just going to be reading an article and just giving some thoughts on it because it made me think of something that I've been thinking about before that I want to ask you guys. So this is the title of it. It's an ABC News. It says Twitter CEO on stage uniform of beanie hooded sweatshirt prompts women to call double standard foul. And Jack Dorsey wore black beanie and sweatshirt at TED Talk event. First of all, just during the wording of this whole thing, he's a CEO. He's a CEO of Twitter. So he's the owner. He's the one who created this thing. He's not just like a CEO who was brought on. He actually was one of the people who created Twitter. Some weird things happening on the screen with this thing. But so coming back to the article, they say on stage uniform. If you're just wearing clothes, it's just clothes. It's not like it's a uniform. It's not even a Bart Simpson type thing where in Bart Simpson and The Simpsons, they have that scene where he goes to his closet and it's just like the orange shirts and the blue shorts and the blue shoes. It's got many pairs of them. It's got like over a dozen pairs. That's some kind of uniform. But then when they talk about the uniform, it's like, oh, you're wearing this kind of outfit. I would say if you look at in general the way men and women dress in public, in certain positions, I would say men have more of a uniform where it's just like the suit. It's essentially you wear a suit like this guy here, Stapanopoulos or whatever. As you see on the screen here, the guy's just wearing like a purplish, bluish shirt, a grayish tie that goes with his grayish suit. And that's pretty much what you have as a man in general in these positions. It's you have some kind of suit that's going from beige. You can have white in some occasions going, of course, all the way over to... you can have different patterns on it. You can have the checkered, you can have different things like that. But in general, it's not like you can just come in with a multi-flowery pattern jacket and have a tie that's an ascot or something. It's in general the general business look. That is a uniform, if anything. But when you look at women in similar positions, in workplaces, in corporate positions, I think they have less of a uniform. Yeah, being back in the 80s and the 80s and 70s, they had some of those kind of, the shoulders, they had the big puffed up shoulders and things like that. But now they wear all these kinds of outfits. You can have different cuts, you can wear skirts, you can wear pants, you can wear dresses, you can wear different kind of things. When you go to events, you see women in different kinds of things. Sometimes cleavage is showing, their hair is in different styles. They wear makeup, they wear all these things, they accessorize. There's a lot more diversity and choice, I think, when it comes to what women wear. But just this kind of situation, like, look, this is, in general, they probably went on Twitter, of course. This is okay. Let's just read the article a bit. While Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey faced tough questions on stage Tuesday at the TED Talk, he also faced tough criticism on Twitter for his appearance. So, essentially, the guy who created Twitter goes onto a TED Talk to talk about Twitter, and then people get salty, mostly women get salty, and go on the platform that he created to complain about the way he's dressing while talking about the platform he created on the platform. It's this. Why? Why are people just so salty? People got too much time. There's too much salt in this world. I mean, it's like we need to go back to like the salt standard. If we went back to the salt standard right now, I think money would just be completely devalued because it's be way too much salt. Like, way back in like Roman times, they used to pay people with salt in sometimes. Like, are you worth your salt? Is worth your salt a thing? Yeah, I think that's an idiom. Are you worth your salt? So that kind of thing is like, right now, people are salty about worthless things. In the past, people were worth their salt. Now people are worthlessly salty. So you have this thing. Dorsey took on stage with TED 2019, Bigger Than Us in Vancouver, British Columbia, wearing a black beanie that covered his ears and part of his beard, a black hooded sweatshirt, black pants, and black boots. His look led one Twitter user to write, "Fun challenge," says this woman, Ariel Dumas. "Fun challenge. Every single professional woman should show up to work dressed like this." First of all, he wasn't showing up to work. He was in an interview. And even if he shows up to work, he's still, when you go to these kind of companies, I don't have personal experience. Did a startup for a bit. Didn't really turn out that well. But it was like casual. We were working mostly out of the house and things like that. But I figure in general, this whole millennial Silicon Valley kind of environment, it's a lot less formal than the past has been. Even if you're showing up to code and things like that, I don't think you need to be dressed in a full suit, in a full business suit. And this kind of situation is, Now, I'm also thinking about now someone like Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos, who was this massive story that came out. A lot of you might have heard of it, where she had this kind of device where she said you just take a pinprick and then you get all these blood tests. It was supposed to revolutionize things, and she conned people for like almost billions. She was one of the world's the first female young tech billionaire, and then she was at an award show where the men were all dressed in tuxedos. They were getting these awards and things like that. Everyone was in tuxes. I think there was like about maybe 15 people, a dozen men on the stage and things like that. And she just had a long flowing dress. I'm like, okay, should she match the dress code? If that's the kind of situation, should she just wear black like everybody else is wearing in that kind of situation? And then also she actually had a uniform. She actually tried to emulate Steve Jobs and wear she also put some more bass in her voice, and she would talk all deep, and then she would have what's it called? The things Archer used to wear. Also, Archer used to wear them. Turtleneck. She would wear the black turtleneck, and she'd be talking like this, and then that was her uniform, and that was the kind of thing she did. And she was like this tech genius person that women say like, okay, the tech world has a glass ceiling. Women can't do certain things, except they can find a way to swindle billions from people and have people who are in high places in politics come on the board and things like that and just give them money. So yeah, that kind of situation, those things are not really talked about, but hey, that's the world we're living in right now. So reactions to this tweet posted by Ariel Dumas show that she's not the only one who thought of the double standard for men and women and men. I mean, ABC, double standard. Yes, women and men are different. This is the thing. If you think women and men are the same, then you would expect similar standards. But I completely understand there's a double standard. You can't say something to a woman and act like it's the same as saying it to a man, because a woman is a different being. You can't physically be in a situation with a woman. Like, I can't just... let's say you're in an elevator and I'm like 5'11", like 240 right now. And like, if I'm in an elevator, I can't just crack a joke to like a woman in a certain way that I don't know, who's like 5'2", like 100 pounds, because she might think I'm a threat to her, and technically I could be a physical threat to her. So I understand that's different. So it's different with me cracking a joke like that than she's cracking a joke to me. Let's say it was something about attractiveness and things like that. I'm like, if she wanted me and I didn't want her, it's not like I couldn't just stop those advances. But on the flip side, you have to understand there is a standard there. It's not a double standard. It's a realistic standard, knowing that these two people are different in a sexually dimorphic species. So for me, I appreciate the differences. I like the differences between men and women, males and females. That's part of what makes us who we are. But the problem is you have some people who say there's no differences, so when they come to double standards, these things meshing together just kind of mess things up. So they're talking about this thing, double standards where Dorsey took stage. The tweet has received more than 1,200 likes and drawn hundreds of comments, many of them first-person examples from women. I forgot to put on mascara one day, and a fully painted face, and all I hear is, "Are you tired? And are you not feeling well?" And others get to show up others get to show up in last month's dirty expletive laundry, wrote one commentator. Look, if they show up and they're still working, whatever, and they're talking about others exactly with men, okay, whatever. How do you know it's last month's dirty laundry? Maybe they smell, whatever. All these things. So it depends on your workplace, depends on what you're doing in that kind of situation. There's a lot of things that go into this. And this whole fully painted, people are asking, are you tired? Are you not feeling well? So in some situations, they might actually just be concerned because you have already set the standard of wearing makeup on a regular basis. So if something's off, they're actually noticing and saying, oh, is something off? So just say, I'm not tired. Be like, I just didn't decide to wear makeup today. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. You got to be like, okay, some days I'm not going to wear makeup. It's not only because I'm tired. Because in most cases, when someone is tired and not feeling well, I've often heard, I've been watching these videos of this Amber Lynn and then people who kind of react to Amber Lynn, this person KTW. She does these cut-ups. Amber Lynn is this YouTuber who started a channel where she was saying a weight loss channel. This was years back, 2015 or something, when she was like, oh, the highest I've ever weighed is, was it 360 or was it 460? I think it was 364 or something. And now, 4 years later, she's up to like 574, and it's just some kind of mess. And it's just something, I'm doing this series on the 7 deadly sins, and I want to start off with gluttony, and I have this thing, this trying to research and just trying to understand how this has come to be in the world. But anyway, she was talking about she has several times where she wakes up, I'm not wearing makeup today because I'm just so tired. And I hear that often. Women often say, I'm not going to wear makeup when I'm feeling sick or when I'm tired. So to have other people ask you, and I don't know if this was all men asking her, but having other people ask you if you're a woman who regularly wears makeup and then you decide not to, there is a precedent that women, when they're feeling ill or tired, they decide not to wear makeup. If you just tell them, look, I'm not wearing makeup. I know some females who just don't wear that much makeup. It doesn't come up because they haven't set the precedent. You're the one setting the precedent, and you're mad when people notice that, or you're catching feelings, you're being salty when people notice the difference. They're actually paying attention to you. Back to this. Okay, so I've been told to dress more professionally at work, including wear nicer shoes. I wear black lace-up leather shoes, get a haircut, wear more makeup, or dress less sporty, or less like a junior lecturer. I would not get this feedback if I was a man, another woman wrote. Yes, you would not get the feedback of wear more makeup. Some of them were very gender-specific things here. Now, it depends on what you're doing. You don't know this. This whole idea where people say, oh, my lived experience, as a woman, I know this and this and this, so you as a man can't speak about it. Yet, me as a woman, I'm going to speak about what would happen to me if I was a man. And that's just, there goes again the double standard. Men as males cannot speak about the female experience. White people as whites cannot speak about the black experience. But a black female can speak about the experience of what it is like being a white male. You can't have the two. Pick one. Okay, men recognize the discrepancy too. With one writing, my wife spends an incredible amount of time and energy and money to look good at work. I'd show her this treat, but I don't want her head to explode. So I guess yeah, it doesn't literally mean her head will explode, but then, yeah, the amount of money and things that are spent in these things, and you get to see an article here coming up, right here. It says, women investing less than men, what to know about the gender savings gap. So I guess now that's another gap that's coming up. They've let the wage gap is I think it's on its dying legs. I think that's been put down pretty much. There's not too many serious people who still talk about the wage gap. I think it's been refuted in so many different ways and things like that. Now they're talking about the investing gap, the gender savings gap. Now, there's several things in this, and I clicked this article before and just kind of skimmed it, and I didn't see this. They were talking about different processes of why women, how women can actually start saving, which is a positive thing. Yeah, do start saving. But part of the reason women invest less is, of course, now they spend more. 80% of consumer spending is controlled by women, both housewives, buying the groceries and things like that, both like this. You look at the entire makeup industry, entire things like this. Like you have these people making fun of his beanie. Oh, he's covering these women are walking around in hair hats. They're walking around in weaves and wigs, and you're the one talking about people wearing hats. No. You're already wearing something on your head that's not your hair. It's other people's hair, or it's fake hair covering your face. That's not what you look like. So I don't want to hear this from these people. But when it comes down to, there's a lot of that kind of things, and then a lot of the things that men buy are also to impress women, if not directly for women. So a lot of spending is spent on that, and just like the money, the amount of money that's spent on makeup is a lot. So you're taking a lot of things out. Women are spending a lot of things, a lot. You have your multiple pairs of shoes, multiple pairs of dresses. Again, going back to this Amber Lynn thing, she goes to Walmart and Target a lot. And this place called Five Below or something. But she's just constantly buying things. And I know, and I'm suspecting this is partially to do with also her issue with overeating, binge eating and things like that. Just having a low sense of control and impulse control where she just sees something and she feels like she has to have it. She's buying things, just buying things. Because she's buying books, notebooks, all kinds of trinkets. She has all these kind of earrings and chokers. And I'm like, why do you need all these things? And sure, it might be $1 here, like $2 there, $5 there. But when you have like 100 of them, that comes up to $500. That comes up to almost $1,000. And you're just buying these things every year. And if you're making like $30,000 a year, that's a big chunk of it. That money could have gone to savings if you just cut down some of those things. But one of the main reasons that wasn't mentioned in this is women, the hypergamy situation. Women marry up. If a woman is making $30,000 a year, she's going to be interested in men who are making 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year. If a woman is making that six figures, the seven figures, if she's a CEO of a company and she's at 100,000, she's probably saving more. Those kind of women are kind of probably saving more in that kind of situation. I know some women who are rather high up in doing well in the business world and things like that, who are rather smart with their money, because that's just what it takes to actually get to these positions in general. But you have this kind of situation where you have somebody, if she's making 60,000, she's looking for a guy who's making 80,000, 100,000, 120,000. So she's looking to marry somebody that's in that situation, and then the savings that that man is making as well now gets together with the woman's savings. Now there's also the situation where women are graduating from college at a higher level, and with the graduation from college, they're also coming out with more debts. So they're spending more money in debts. They normally marry somebody who's wealthier than them, and then they get into the saving situation with that person. So they don't really think in the same kind of way where it's like, I have to save up for myself. They just kind of have this expectation in general with some of them, a decent amount of them, where they'll just like, I'm just going to marry somebody and get in the situation and be taken care of realistically, because as a male, you earn this money so you can convince a woman to allow you to reproduce with her, and then she carries your kids, and then you, in exchange of that, support her financially and your kids. That's the kind of way these things happen. So it's not surprising that there's a gender savings gap. But so they're talking about this whole money situation. That's the thing there. So Lauren McGoodwin, the founder of Career Contessa, a career site for women, said it's common knowledge that tech leaders like Dorsey have a very very casual dress code. She asks, though, when it's time for when's the last time we saw Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg matching her boss? Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg at a major event in his standard shirt or hoodie. Sandberg, in fact, wore a black t-shirt, skirt, and pantyhose for a 2010 TED Talk. Why does that even matter? Why do we even know what she wore over this? I'm more interested in what she said. Probably something about leaning in and things like that. So I guess Zuck's Twitter handle is this Twitter or Instagram? Is this Zuck at Facebook HQ? So he's here in his typical gray shirt and things like that. And she, even for me, this seems to be the typical Sheryl Sandberg outfit. The kind of cardigan type thing, bluish, with the white shirt underneath and unbuttoned. I think this is a typical thing for her. Maybe she just feels comfortable that way too. Hey, what is this? Why does she have to wear a t-shirt? Maybe she just feels comfortable in this. You want to just come out and like, what do you want her to wear? Like a halter top or something? No, she just feels she's a grown woman. She has her own fashion style. She wants to be comfortable in what she's wearing. She's still doing her job. So what's the deal here? So here we go. It's like men have a uniform and somehow it's powerful, but women are not allowed to have a uniform that's casual, McGoodwin said. If Sheryl Sandberg did that, the storyline would be she's unraveling because of her appearance. Again, this is also a situation where you set something. If Mark Zuckerberg had started out wearing Armani suits all the time and things like that, just straight suited up. I have a friend who just likes suiting up just for the hell of it. Like every time he goes out, he's like, I'm going to suit up. And this is the thing, that's what he does. Now, if all of a sudden he just started wearing kind of t-shirts and jeans like I normally do, then people might be like, okay, what's going on? Like, you changed up here. Is something up? Is something wrong with you? You've kind of set this precedent. So she set the precedent of dressing a certain way. So if she switches, people are going to do it. But then if she continues that way and still is doing her job, it's going to move on. People aren't really going to care that much. Okay, so McGoodwin said that she absolutely sees a double standard in the workplace attire for men and women. She described it as a type of game that women cannot win. Now again, this is the thing I'm talking about here. You see this in political events mostly when you come to something like on the stage. I saw this a lot when I was watching the Donald J. Trump against Hillary Clinton in the debates. Hillary Clinton had the ability to wear all white. Now when you wear that all white kind of thing, it evokes some kind of image of purity, of this kind of feeling. Like look at what the Democrat women did in the last State of the Union. They came out in all white to get that attention. Can you imagine men deciding, oh, we're just going to wear all white suits today? It's going to be like straight Colonel Sanders out in this thing. People would be like, is this a KKK thing? Like, what are you guys wearing? Like, are you like Liberace or something? The men can't do that. Women can wear bright red things is eye-catching things, orange. These things catch your eye. These things draw people's attention and things like this. So having the ability to have these wider range of colors and outfits and things like that, the sparkly dresses and all these kind of fashionable things, it actually allows you to attract attention in a different way. It might stick as more memorable in somebody's mind, like, hey, this person is wearing this. I can see that person. That person is sticking out from all these other people. You had this other situation where Kamala Harris was on some kind of she was just doing some kind of she was doing the campaigning thing, and then there was reporters from actual news channels, actual things going out there like, oh, you definitely should try this on. It was like Technicolor, shiny kind of Rubik's cube outfit. She's like, you should definitely try this on. She's like, yeah, I should try this. With the guys, it's just the bland suits. It's just the straight up suits. Not too many people are like, yeah, that suit looks a lot different than that suit. But with women, you can have that little extra. Now you try to watch African politicians. Try to get some African politics and try to see what the women are wearing. They wear the headdresses, they wear the flowing dresses, the traditional things with kanga cloths and all these kind of different outfits and colors and things like that. And that does do something. There's a reason they're doing that. There's a reason they're doing that instead of just dressing normally. Because they do understand there is an aspect of adding extra attention to myself, drawing attention to myself, sticking out from the crowd by wearing something that's eye-catching in this way. So there is a positive of that. So this whole idea of double standard, no, it's not double standard. It's just two different standards because there's men and women. That's all it is. Okay. If we put too much into our appearance, we're conforming to the crazy expectations put on us and are not a girl's girls. Put on us and are not a girl's girl. She said, on the flip side, if we're not put together, then it's like, don't invite so-and-so to the client meeting today because she's not looking so good. Again, precedent. If you just wear no makeup, and I mean, you don't have the bags. I mean, there's looking tired, because even with a man, you still, in general, need to, okay, I guess he's not shaved in this situation, but there's a certain kind of look and thing. If you have a company like Twitter, I really doubt he's going to be like, Jack Dorsey's going to be like, yeah, we're meeting people unless you're dressed in a full business attire dress, you can't come to the meeting. There's going to be different companies, there's going to be different kind of situations, they're going to have different kind of outfits and things like that. Now this girl's girl thing, this is something that mostly comes with women. Mostly women are going to be noticing this and pointing this out about the other women. It's not going to be men saying, oh, why isn't this woman wearing this kind of thing? Another thing, just like they're using the sexuality, using your own sexuality. There's definitely some women who do that. They'll wear something low cut. They'll wear something to show the legs because they want to use that feminine attractiveness to kind of move themselves along, to get some attention. And some of them do that to actually climb that ladder. This is a thing that happens. You can pretend it doesn't, but it does. It's just the same thing like nepotism. This is a thing that happens. Who you know, the people you know, the people who know other people will move on in certain situations if somebody is actually more physically attractive. This also happens with males too. Taller males in general are going to move on further than shorter males. This is just a thing that happens. People are attracted to things they are attracted to and want to be around things they're attracted to and attribute positive qualities onto things that are physically attractive. This is a reality of life. Okay. So McGoodwin added, if you want to be a woman who wears what you're comfortable in, you also have to make a public announcement about that. And you don't have to be the CEO of your own company. I don't think that's a problem. Just saying like, look, I'm just not going to, like, if you don't want people asking what's wrong if you just switch up, then you just say a public announcement. You just be like, hey, okay, I've been wearing suits all this time. I'm going to switch up to start wearing just like t-shirts. Don't think like something crazy or going on with my mind. I just decided to wear a different fashion style. That's a basic kind of thing to do. Like, oh, I've been driving a Mercedes and different kind of vehicles to work every day, and now I'm going to be riding my bike or taking public transport. I just want to switch it up. So it's not that like I'm all of a sudden broke or I'm depressed or something happened. Like I just decided to switch this up. This is a basic announcement. If you're around a bunch of people who are used to certain things about you, who might ask questions about changes that you're going to do in your life, it makes sense to make a kind of announcement. I don't know. I don't see the problem with that. Okay. Georgine Huang, the co-founder of Fairy God Boss, also a career site for women. There's all these career sites for women. I guess there's also career sites for like black men and all these supposedly underserved groups and things like that. But this whole idea that there's limitations to women and things like that, it's not true. If they were, it's out of choice and selection. The whole wage gap thing, it's like you take a field like teachers, elementary school teachers, that's 95% males, and you try to average the cost of, or you try to average the salaries of those people with something like people who work in oil rigs, something that's like 99% men, and you put those things together, and then you're surprised that the teachers are making 40,000 or less a year, and then the men are making 60,000 or more a year. You can't just average these things together. You see, this is the thing, they talk about differences and then they try to put things together. It's not, that's not the way the world works. Okay. One day I wore a dress and high heels, and the next day I deliberately dressed down, she said. It was partly because of travel later in the day, and there was a part of me that thought it shouldn't matter, that I'm the CEO and is what I'm a CEO and is what I'm going to say. I'm a CEO, and is what I'm going to say about the company less important than what I wear? Is she talking about what she's going to say about the company? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's saying what I say about the company in order, like, in that meeting, what she says is going to be more important. And I think that's one thing that comes down to it. Once you get past the appearance, the quality, the content of the person is actually a lot more important. If you get to a situation where some business people decide, if this woman isn't dressed up in a certain way, in a full dress and looking in a certain way, full on makeup, and I'm just not going to listen to her, you wait for the people who are going to actually care about the content of your character, content of your company, and you work with those people because they'll value you more, and those people will benefit. And then those ignorant people that want you to just be on appearance, and I think this is one thing, I think women in general put a lot more into appearance than men do. So they assume that men are going to do the same thing. And they may have met some men that are judgmental in that situation, yet those men are judging that situation in a different kind of sense. Don't they understand that the reason someone like Jack Dorsey can wear this is because he knows his fellow men are not going to judge him as lesser of the character for doing that. Yet I think women understand that there is this kind of jockeying for position where they self-police themselves, where they will be the most critical about each other in these kind of situations. So they get to that kind of situation where they just kind of project that onto men. But no, you need to get past that. Don't get past, we need equal representation. We need people who are black, someone who's disabled, who's this. No, you need somebody who has good ideas, good content, good work ethic. You don't need to just have United Colors of Benetton. It should be the actual quality of those actual clothes and things like that that actually sells. And that's what matters a lot more. And I think in these situations, you're going to start noticing this more and more. And I think some women are kind of getting wise to that, where it's like, hey, you don't really have to worry about these other things. Okay, so Huang wore pants and flats to her presentation, and the world continued to turn. An example, she says, of how expectations can be shifted for future generations of women. So that's the thing. Nobody said, get the hell out of here. Where's your dress? She had these apprehensions, but she just went in there. So she says, I hope it sort of made easier for anyone who wanted to do that, she said. Just to have another person doing it, there's a lot less peer pressure to conform to the standard. Again, the peer pressure. Where is this peer pressure coming from? This is not coming from men. Men are not like, wear all these frilly colors, wear all these dresses, wear all these... It's like, dude, can you do the work? Can you hack it? In general, that's what most men care about. And these whole other situations are... Okay, so Huang added of Dorsey's TED Talk attire. I think it's fine. The way he dressed, as long as women feel they can do the same, which I don't think they do. Here, the feels. I don't care what you feel like. Why is Jack Dorsey supposed to make women feel like they can dress like Jack Dorsey? Who's making these women feel that they can't do that? What kind of process do you want to have women feel that they can do that? Do you want like a dress code? Should there be flyers and things sent out saying, like, instead of saying, hey, this is a new kind of thing we're trying to aim for our program, for our coding. Oh, by the way, women can wear anything. Just have this kind of don't wear makeup and things like that. No, just don't wear makeup. Where is there a kind of thing where it's like you have to wear makeup? I'm sure it is in general in certain jobs. I know something like if you're working at Hooters, Hooters is this club, is this restaurant in the United States of America where women wear these really short orange kind of shorts, and these shirts say Hooters, and the Hooters is like the an owl, and the Hooters is also slang for breasts. So they're not even all busty. They're just fit women, and they wear these kind of outfits and sell like it's Americana food. It's like wings, burgers, fries, things like this. And again, also saw it on this Amber Lynn thing. The KTW did this cut up where these four women went there, and five women I think, and the smallest one had to be like at least 240, at least like my weight. And Amber Lynn was there, and she was the biggest one. She was like 5, and they were like taking pictures of these women. These women were like, the two waitresses there were like 5'5", like maybe 110 pounds, and they were just slim. And you had these really this weird thing about America. Weird thing about America, and just the big people in America. And I was one of those big people. I'm on my journey to get to be a healthier person. So I've had some experience with that. I think my highest weight was the highest weight I actually weighed myself in was 340 pounds. I may have gone higher than that. That might have been around. I think I was higher than that about 2 years ago. But then I've definitely lost a lot of weight, improved my body composition. But I've always been a bigger kid. I've rather big bone structure. Been somewhat muscular, played American football and wrestled and things like that when I was in high school, and so I've always had the frame before. So getting into my weight loss thing was just watching my diet, being more concerned, understanding I was committing a long, slow, somewhat tasty suicide, and this thinking like I want to do more in my life. If I get lucky enough to be a father, have a nephew, I just didn't see any. There were a lot of things that happened in my life where I was like, I'm not taking care of myself. I don't care for myself enough to even just be a better physical self. Your body is the temple, is what your mind resides in, and you just need to have that. There's a better mind-body relationship. There's a lot that goes in there. But anyway, this is all just about Hooters with the attire. They actually have a certain attire there. If you're working in a place like that, they're going to be like, okay, you wear these kind of things. At the same point, is there a double standard? Like, I can't go and apply for that job. Yet there was this other chain of restaurants I saw, this other news story where a bigger woman, she was she looked like she was a 5'6" or something, maybe 200 and something pounds, and she tried to apply for this one chain of restaurants that has like barmaids wearing these kind of Scottish, kind of kiltish type of things, outfits and things like that, very fit, the midriff showing, and they're like, you can't really, like, we're full. And she tried to sue them because she was like, okay, you're not full, you just don't want to hire me because of my shape. And that's the thing. But I also, as a male, can't just go there and be like, hey, can you hire me? I want to work at Hooters. I got some Hooters. I could. No, you can't. There's certain things where it's like, okay, this is the thing. So in certain situations, there is going to be a certain dress code. There's going to be a certain way where people should kind of wear these kind of things. If you are working in a construction site, you can't just be like, I want to wear my hair down. I don't. This jacket clashes with me. If I wear this hat, so it would mess up my hair. I just got my hair did. I can't have this hard hat. No, you got to wear the hard hat. You got to wear the construction boots. This is this kind of outfit you have to wear for this job. You can't just be like, I got these new Jordans. Like, I'm just looking fly. Like, these fucking these Gucci jeans I got. I got to wear these. No, you have to wear the actual outfits. You wear the outfits for the job. Some jobs are kind of with that. Some aren't. And this whole situation where it's like, okay, you got to do this. You got to wear this. I think it's a bit much. Okay. Now here we go. Sophia Amoroso, the founder of Girl Boss. Again, Girl Boss. First of all, the whole like girl thing. Why isn't it like woman boss? This whole idea of girls. Girls. First of all, girl used to be a term that just used to be like all children were called girls, boys and girls were called girls, and then switched over to girls. But then I don't like the whole thing for girls because it just has this infantilization. But I think people enjoy this infantilization of females. I wish it was more just like woman or female or things like that. Or just like gyno boss maybe, because that's like the thing that goes with that with women. Anyway, echoed Huang's idea that she'd like to see a world where neither men or women were judged by what they wear. Yet this whole article is about judging a man about what he wears. Maybe instead of asking people to hold men to the same possible standard we hold women to, we challenge ourselves to stop judging professionals for what's on the outside. A bold task, I know, she said. But what if we lived in a world where leaders of all stripes and genders could sit wherever they wanted and wherever they wanted to on sit wherever they wanted to on the Beyonce to Jack Dorsey spectrum, no judgment. I guess they're calling Beyonce someone who's like always dressed to the nines and things like that, high fashion. And that's the other thing. And I think another cool thing that's coming with this is the whole like avatar situation where a lot of these meetings are going to be done in the digital virtual space where you can just go in there with your avatar. So you can be sitting in your boxers. A woman could just be at home in her sweatpants and just like a big baggy shirt, sipping on her coffee or whatnot. And she could just be running a company because her avatar is in this digital space. People are all with their VR headsets looking into this kind of board meeting, and you have this kind of situation where the avatars can change and these kind of things. But I do think we are going towards a position where it's more about the content of the person's character versus what the person looks like. McGoodwin's advice to women frustrated with a double standard is to be more transparent and to set the examples themselves where they can. So here we go. Just do it yourself. Instead of this having somebody else do it, do it. I saw a woman in a plane who had rollers in her hair and was eye masking, and I thought, she's my personal hero. God, Mr. McGoodwin recalled. Women often look like they somehow got it together when in reality, they're working really hard to put it all together. Yeah, I mean, it's an appearance thing, and that's the thing. Women have a different challenge. They do this in general for themselves. A woman will say they'll do it for themselves, yet the actual makeup, the targets for what it looks good to be makeup-wise are things that just have the whole, like, fertility kind of look. Angling the cheekbones kind of give that definition. The eye black, I think, focuses your details on the eyes. The lips is a sign of fertility. The rosy cheeks, the smoother skin. All of these things are considered attractive, even for women. The reason they're trying to achieve them is because these are things that show fertility. That is just in general. This is something that comes with this Evo Psych. These are basic things that we have. Okay, here we go. If a female CEO comes to work with her hair in a ponytail and says, "I just came from workout," it's vocal and doesn't hide it. That's leading by example, she said. And yeah, that's good. Just do that. I mean, I think that's a positive thing. As women in the C-suite, I think the C-suite is a corporate suite. It's the kind of people in the offices and things like that, white-collar jobs. There's still a need to keep talking about the challenging the status quo, according to McGoodwin, who acknowledged that for years, even she has straightened her curly hair because of the cultural image of powerful women in suits with straight hair. Who's this cultural image done by? Is this like Hollywood? Is this personal? Like, what's this image coming from? Now, you see, this is also it is ABC News. This is focused on the United States of America. But I guess that's another thing with the hair hats here in Africa. People with weaves and, I'm going to do a separate video, I think, about this because I think I need to focus on this point specifically. There is something that really bugs me about weaves. And now, this is the thing. I understand there's difference. I understand there's African culture, there's Kenyan culture, there's Afrocentric culture, there's European culture, there's Italian culture, there's white and black culture to some extent and things like that. So when you talk about these differences, I do understand the difference between men and women, the difference between races. There are these differences that actually exist. I acknowledge them. But there's some people who don't acknowledge these differences. There's some people who go even further and say, oh, you as a white person can't culturally appropriate something about black culture. Now, for me, if you are a black woman, African woman, Afro woman, a Negro woman, and you wear a hair hat, weave, extensions that are of Caucasian, European, white people hair, I'm talking about straight flowing, the blonde, different colors and things like that. And I don't want to hear anything. It's an automatic disqualification. You have no right to talk about any kind of cultural appropriation. Not while you're wearing those hair hats. Not while you're wearing those white people hair or Indian people hair. All these kind of things. No. Either if you have your natural hair and you go, okay, then maybe I can kind of listen. But then automatically, if you come at me with any of that nonsense, and you're not wearing some natural hair, I'm already zipping you out of that thing. If you feel offensive to that, whatever. Anyway, so let's just finish this out because it's something I want to share you after this. So the worst thing we can do is make a lot of noise. The worst thing you can do is make a lot of noise about this and then stop talking about it. She said, women should wear what they feel comfortable with in work because at work it's not a fashion show, and that's true. It's not a fashion show. They've gotten to that point where like you can hardly even talk to men and women, and I think we're going to get to like a lot more segregated workplaces. But if you go to the like virtual kind of situation and that kind of ads kind of thing, where you can just talk via things, people can be comfortable in their homes and things like that. So the thing's changing with this. There was some interesting comments here that I just want you guys to see, because I think it's interesting to kind of see what people are saying, and you can kind of see that people are kind of, I think, over this whole narrative of woe is woman, the woman is. It's like I think the lady doth protest too much. I think we are at that kind of position in the world right now, where some people are realizing some of these things. It's a bit much. Like, you have a lot of time in your hand if this is actually your main issue in the world. I'm not saying main issue in the world because these people just have time. When you tweet something, it's not really the most important thing that's happening in the world to you, but it's a thing. So you see here, it's like no dress code for self-made billionaires. Yeah, they decide to wear what they want in general. It's not really a thing where they're wearing things. So exactly, it's a different gender issue. Men could turn up at the hostel we work at dressed like that, so it's incorrect, and a man can get away with it. It's a finance issue. He's a billionaire. He can dress however he damn wants. Is that really him? People kind of make you fun. Oh, I gave this guy who's a bum or whatnot. Oh yeah, whatever. You can think whatnot. People dress better than that for casual Fridays, depending on the individual. His attire is millennial required duds. He owns the shop. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's also there's some generational gap things. Things are changing a lot. The style wise, things have changed a lot. If a woman right now, if Sheryl Sandberg started wearing those big shoulder kind of things, it would look kind of odd. It'd be like, what are you doing, Sheryl? So that's already something that's kind of changed and things like that. The personal best is a foreign concept for this guy. Yeah, whatever. No kidding, looks like a guy was panhandling. Okay, he looks like a guy was panhandling, but take a shower, wash your hair, trim your beard, clean up, or don't expect your female employees. Yeah, I guess females in this current year can actually have beards, so that's a thing. But yeah, well, again, he's not at the office. Even if he dressed like this, he's not at the office right now. He was at a TED Talk. He could have taken a shower. I mean, this could just be like the grunge look. People are acting like grunge was never a thing. Grunge was a thing when I was in middle school. I guess I'm old. I'm kind of old. But still, like, that was a thing. That was a thing that people actually used to wear. And this whole like hip-hop thing. There's a big hip-hop movement with people like Lil Pump, Lil Uzi Vert. Just wear kind of just whatever. This whole fashion of just wearing these kind of crazy things. And I guess like Jack isn't a hip hop artist, but anyway, he's just wearing kind of what he wants. It was like Mark Zuckerberg. The one time I saw him in a suit, he came to Kenya and he was visiting with some people, and he was at some restaurant somewhere. That was the one time I've seen him in a suit in public. I'm sure he's worn suits at other times. I don't know what his reasoning was to wear a suit in that situation, maybe because he was meeting with the president, but I think he's met other presidents. I guess I can check more and see what he wears when he actually meets like presidents and all these kind of either dignitaries. Has he met the Pope yet? I don't know. Anyway, so Isabella's mom. As one of the women in the corporate front lines in the 80s and 90s, donning investment clothing to emulate men, this entire article and Twitter outrage smacks of feigned outrage. And I think that's a thing. I think there's just, some of these is just 24/7 news cycle. You just have to find articles. It's kind of a clickbaity article. I clicked it. Other people have clicked it. People have commented on it. They're getting some ad revenue from this. So it works in that sense. I mean, you've got to pay the bills. So I think the people who are posting it don't necessarily, the people who tweet about it, they're not really that big into it. Some of them might be. Then the people who definitely report on it, they're like, hey, we know what the algorithms are. We know what's actually going to get clicks. And I think with most of the people actually giving it out to the public, they're just doing a job. Like you go to McDonald's and somebody gives you fries and they smile and like enjoy your meal. They don't necessarily think McDonald's fries and McDonald's food is the healthiest food that a human can possibly have. But they know selling this McDonald's food gives me a paycheck, so we're going to do this. And I think this is kind of the equivalent when you look at some of these reporters. They're just selling your product. Caitlin M. Forrester here, I give her a thumbs up for this. She quoted this, she got that quote from that guy who was like, men recognize this discrepancy too, with one writing, my wife spends an incredible amount of time and energy and money to look at her work. I'll show her this tweet, but I don't want her head to explode. And then she added, I'm sure his wife's boyfriend agrees too. What's his wife's son's opinion on the matter? It's kind of talking about like he's a cuck, like maybe he's one of those kind of guys that, those bigger guys are like, yeah, we're in polyamory, we're going to have like a polyamorous relationship where I kind of watch my wife with this other man and things like that. Oh yeah, there's people who are doing that now, and that's the thing, like, whatever. When you become a billionaire geek, I guess you can dress like one. There's one out there who has a plan and give all these billions away when he dies. Maybe these haters ought to emulate him and not the beatnik. I don't know who's the billionaire geek. Is it Mark Zuckerberg who wants to give his money away? Or are they talking about someone like Warren Buffett? But is Warren Buffett a geek? I guess he's kind of geeky because he's in that financial thing. He knows about mathematics and investments and things like that. Here you go. I don't think it's men. This is a really good comment by Scott Graham here. I don't think it's men who impose this tribal female overdressing custom. Seriously, you have to be stupid to think that women aren't the harshest judges of other women and the ones setting up these stupid standards of dress. I don't think you can find 5 straight men who honestly give a poop about women's fashion, especially in the workplace. But I can tell you, if a female CEO showed up dressed casually and people criticized her, that would be labeled as misogynistic. But once the ugly comments would be coming, but once the ugly comments would be coming from other women, self-hating would probably be more appropriate. So at the end there was some grammatical errors, but I think he's just pointing out that most of these things would be coming from women instead of this whole idea of it's coming from men. And I think that's kind of a regular thing. He looks like a bum to extent women are to blame. So many go gaga off the guys looking scruffy and complain when a guy takes it too far. This guy just doesn't care, and neither should we. And this also this kind of hipster, chic kind of look and things like that. It's found to be attractive by some people, and also women in general are attracted to the man's actual achievements. If a man has a lot of money, it doesn't really matter. You see a lot of rather unattractive males with a lot of very attractive women because they're like, hey, you have the resources, I have the physical attractiveness, let's trade. So this is kind of a situation. Someone's like, okay, that's some great gymnastics there. I think he's just pointing it out. It's not necessarily mental gymnastics, but it's kind of just like a thing where it's like, hey, this is a fashion style that some women are attracted to. Not all women, just like there's some men that are attracted to really heavy, tatted up women, like Tess Holliday. Not all men, but it happens. I mean, it's out there. He made his money based on sheer ego. So many men He made his money based on the sheer ego of so many men and women who believe their random thoughts are so super important that the world must see them. So they're saying that's also why he's like this. He's trying to look cool, not working. Maybe he's not trying to look cool. Maybe he's just not trying to look anyhow. He's just trying to be like, I am wearing clothing. I'm talking to this person about the company I created that so many of you use, that has done so much to change the world. Positive, negative, it's been some world-changing things. It's been a historical thing, the things it's done in the Arab Spring, or even just like regular communication between people. And now the things that are coming in the future, it being a source for television and things. So there's a lot of things with it. It's a rather massive platform that he created. So maybe he just doesn't care. He really just doesn't give a damn what you think he dresses like. Who is he trying to look cool for? What would him looking cool help his company? Would he be like, oh damn, that guy from Twitter is suited up. He looks so cool right now. I'm going to sign up for Twitter because Jack Dorsey is suited up. You don't give a damn. He goes into this TED Talk. If you're on Twitter and you use Twitter, you're not going to be like, man, he didn't dress in a suit. I'm quitting Twitter. You're going to keep tweeting. You're not going to be like, oh, this guy is so well dressed. Maybe if I use Twitter, I can be well dressed too. No. I think he just made the simple calculation that it doesn't really matter. Maybe there could be some few investors that are like, okay, I haven't invested in your company yet, and you look more serious, and then I have this old mindset where it's like somebody dresses in a certain way, presents themselves in a certain way, I have more trust in them, then I'm going to invest this $1 billion into you. But then he already has so many investors. The company's going to be up and going for probably a long time. He already has a lot of money. Why should he care? Who's he trying to look cool for? So yeah, that was it. Last extra part here. Just look at the page on the side. So this is an article talking about how Jack Dorsey dresses this way. People are talking about these double standards and things like this. And then you scroll down in this article, and then there's an ad about Sephora giving you makeup that makes you look bossy. So this is the thing. Sephora and some other guy coming together to make makeup to make you look bossy. They're actually using the term bossy and things like that. They're talking about this kind of thing. This is being marketed to women. Men are not responsible for these things. Women are buying these things. Look at this case. This case looks like a laptop and things like that. Man, be like, man, I want that new laptop. This woman's like, I want that new Mac top. Is that the what? I think they were saying it was like Mac Cosmetics or something like that. But look at this. This is what they spend their money on. This is the kind of things they invested in. This is nothing to do with men. I guess yeah, there is a male kind of designer in this kind of makeup kind of thing. But this is not men demanding this. This is not men saying we demand you wear all this kind of makeup. No, no, no. This is women who want this. Women want this product, and these people create this product. It's $1 billion industry. I think it's like $3 billion or something. It's $1 billion industry a year for women wearing makeup. So this is the thing. It's kind of funny to see, or kind of odd, interesting to see this article about how men have this double standard. Oh, why is he dressing like this? Women should be allowed to dress this kind of way. And then right below that, you have an article talking about how makeup's going to make you look bossy. So that's it for the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Check the merchandise store up. I put some shirts up on the screen right now. And some other stuff. Might have some other thoughts. Goodbye. So there may be a discrepancy that some of you noticed towards the end there when I went to that part about the cosmetics with Moschino, someone, and Sephora. When I first got to this article, I found a link. That article did follow it. Then when I reloaded the page to record it again with my commentary going on it, there was a different article on there. So that's why it was kind of like a different browser and I cut in. But one thing on makeup, I just have this question. I think I should ask this in a separate video because I just want to ask women this. What happened with the eyebrows? Why did eyebrows plucking become a thing? Like, what is in that? What is it with women who feel I should pluck my eyebrows? I've seen people go all the way to the point where they pluck them out and they just draw them in. But what is attractive about that? The whole, like, eyebrows on fleek or something like that. I've seen women talking to other guys. I have hardly heard a guy. That's one of the few. What's one of the least commented thing? If you don't have like a unibrow, you hardly hear any comments. If anything, at least with me, I like thick eyebrows. Talking like Cara Delevingne, talking like Brooke Shields back in the day. I just like thick, healthy eyebrows. I don't understand where that fashion style came from. And women, if you can explain why you find it attractive to have your eyebrows in that way, or why you see a woman who has her eyebrows plucked and shaped like that and you find that attractive, is it because it's a sign of effort or some kind of skill with your hand to do this? What is the big fascination with the eyebrows thing?